Hey there, everybody. It's Jenny Clark with Solvability. We've got another session of Freedom Friday with my friend Michael Lejeune. How you doing, Michael?
Doing great.
Well, you're always full of wisdom, so I can't wait to hear what you're going to be talking about today. Tell everybody a little bit about RSM Federal and what you guys do.
Sure. Sure. RSM has been around for about 10 years. My partner Josh and I have been working together for almost 20 years now. So we've been friends and worked in different companies. And actually, if we go back 20 years, that's actually where we learned government contracting together in a really small company. And so we've been in the business for a really long time, understand government contracting. And so we primarily help our clients navigate government contracting, anywhere from how do you even spell government to all the little nuances that it takes to win a contract. So that's what we do. We have a couple of ways we do it. There's a handful of books out on the market. So if you hop on Amazon and look up myself or my partner Josh or RSM, you'll find a handful of books that we've written. Jenny, you've been in a couple of those books. And so thank you for that. And then if you hop on to just about any podcasting app and look for Game Changers for Government Contractors, you'll find us there. And then finally, our coaching platform is federal-access.com. And that's where all of our coaching takes place. And we have all our documents and resources in there. Jenny coaches with us, through the Federal Access platform as our specialist in the finance area. And so yeah, we've got a pretty big team now of coaches that help us work in that area. But everybody's focused on helping the clients win more contracts. That's what it's all about. So.
Well, it's so important because I always tell people, come to me when you've talked to Michael or Josh and gotten started, because if you don't have any revenue, I can't help you manage the finances of it either. So
That's right.
well, I'm just going to turn it over to you, Michael, and let you start talking to us about what you said. You're getting a lot of activity on this particular topic. So
yeah,
let us
it's
know.
funny. I talk to hundreds, if not thousands, of business owners every year. And I noticed this last couple of months because, we were ending a quarter, starting a new quarter. And I'm always talking about at the end of the quarter, hey, you should be doing some 90-day planning. And it blows me away how few business owners take time each quarter, even if it's for a half a day, to sit down and think about what they're actually going to do and get strategic about it. So I call it my 90-day strategy session, where you just sit down, even if it's with yourself, if it's just you and your business, or with your key personnel, and walk through the basics of what you're trying to accomplish. So for me, there's a handful of things. Number one is take a minute to actually reflect on the last quarter. What worked and what didn't? That's a big thing, because if you're not looking at what's working and what's not working, you're just going to keep in the grind and you're not really going to focus on improving things. Or to me, if something's not working, a lot of times I'll try to tweak it, or I'll say, look, let's just stop that and let's focus on what is working and let's do more of that. So that's the first thing, is let's take a minute to reflect. The second thing is to actually look at your goals. A lot of people don't ever look at their goals. So they're just kind of roaming around through their business and they wonder why they're not progressing. And it's because, you don't have anything you're pointed at. There's so many little cliche sayings about needing a vision and all these different things. And they're true. If you don't have a vision, if you don't have a direction, you're just going to wander around in your business and you're going to get what you get. So if Russ Barnes was on here, he'd talk about being intentional about what you want to actually accomplish. And so looking at your goals is really important every single quarter. And for me, it's aligning your quarterly goals with the annual goals. Look, are we doing what we need to do this quarter? Are we doing enough so that we hit our annual target? The next piece of the goal setting is actually setting clear targets. You can't just say things like, hey, we want to increase revenue. And when I say how much, people are like, well, I don't know, just more than we did last quarter. Well, by how much? What's realistic? Well, $1 billion. Well, that's not realistic. So trying to set a clear goal of, hey, well, we did $500,000 last quarter. We've got enough in the pipeline to at least do that. Can we get to 750? Yeah, I think we can get to 750. Can we get to $1 million? Let's get clear on what we're actually trying to hit, then starting to align the activities with the goals, because there's things you have to do to make it happen. You can't just sit on your couch and set goals and sit back and go, well, I've set goals. Well, what are the activities you have to do? You have to do the work to make the goals happen. And then if you have a team, you have to look at who's responsible for what. That's a big thing there. So getting really clear on your goals, the activities and responsibilities, that's a big one. And then the next point is breaking down projects. There's too many times when I look at somebody's goals and they'll say, well, we want to implement an accounting system this quarter. Hold up. That is not a task. That's a project. And that project probably has 37 steps on it. So out of the 37 steps, what are we going to accomplish each week? There's 13 weeks in a quarter. What are we going to accomplish each week? 2 or 3 of those items that are out of the 37? What are we going to do? And so distinguishing between projects and tasks is a big deal because, hey, I need to call the contracting officer at the Army Corps in Sacramento. That's a task. That's not a project. But like implementing the accounting system, it's a whole project. So breaking down and distinguishing your projects from your tasks is a big deal. And then finally, one of the things that I think is really important is identifying your gaps. So you look at your plan and you say, where does the plan lack clarity? Where do I need help? Where do I need resources? Because you might not be able to do it yourself. You might not even know what. You might say, hey, I want to give this to somebody to take a look and see if I'm crazy. Are we trying to accomplish way too much? But the gaps are usually pretty obvious where you'll look at it and go, oh, well, I don't know how to set up a YouTube channel. I don't know how to create a capability statement. I don't know how to use PowerPoint. I don't know how to use Photoshop. I don't know how to fill in the blank. We need to upgrade our website, but I don't know how to do that. So I need to get a designer or whatever. There's resources I need. So identifying those gaps is really important because you don't want to get to week 7 of your 13 weeks and realize we don't have a designer. And now we've got to engage one, and it's going to take us 2 weeks to get on their calendar. It's going to take them 2 or 3 weeks to get in their production schedule. And I'm going to miss my goal because I didn't identify this gap at the beginning and have that call in week 1. Because now I'm having it in week 7 or 8, I'm going to miss my goals. And so I think those are the big ones. So reflect on the last quarter, get your goals clear, everything I talked about there, breaking down your projects, identifying your gaps. And then you're probably going to look at your planning process and say, well, hey, here's what's missing. And next quarter, when we do this, there's a lot more stuff we want to do. But those 4 basic steps will help you put together a pretty solid plan of attack that, again, is aligned with your strategic objectives and goals for the year. And if you do that, I think you'll be in really good shape and you'll be ahead of your competition. So how's that? We wanted to get this under 20 minutes. I did it in less than 10.
So. Oh my gosh, I've got so many things I want to ask you about with that, because this really fits with what we've gone through the last year and the previous year. As a matter of fact, a lot of people are telling me my business has really taken off this year. I'm so excited. And I said to them, I think it's because with COVID, you had to adapt and change what you were doing. And it really kind of forced you to go a different direction and think it through. Have you seen that in the companies you're working with? And what do you think is the big success factor?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for a lot of people, so many of them were adverse to doing anything telecommute, working from home, letting their people work from home. And then they had all this stuff that was happening because you drive into the office, you do your thing, you have your whole cycle. The reset button got hit on all these people, and they had to rethink how they were doing life and business together. And so we see a huge shift in people trying to develop not just a business, but a lifestyle around their business. That's part of it. But when you all of a sudden have to stop and think about what you're doing, especially if you're in a new environment. Like, I don't do any of my planning behind my desk in this office. I always leave this office and go to a new environment that I'm not in 24/7. And when I do that, all of a sudden your mind just opens up, because I'm not looking at the things on my desk and my screen and my email and all the little things that bug me. I'm in a place where I can just stop and think. And when people get a chance to stop and think, they realize, hey, and I'm just be blunt about this thing that I'm doing, it's kind of stupid. Why are we doing this?